So today I'm bringing on one of my mentors and good friends, Ryan Lee, onto the Rise to Top podcast. We have a wide variety of things to talk about coming up right now. And welcome, my friends, to the Rise to Top podcast. It's your great and good friend, David Siteman Garland. This one was a tough one to actually come up with a title for, right? Like our podcasts normally have very succinct titles, but this one was a tough one because this is a wide-ranging conversation with one of my original mentors and good friends, Ryan Lee. So I've known Ryan for many years, going all the way back, I think about 10 years in this business, which is as long as I've been in this business. He's been one of my original mentors. He's just done everything in the online world. And what I love about Ryan is that he does it the right way. He does it with ethics. He does it by putting the customer first. He's got a great lifestyle. He's got 4 kids. They live up in Connecticut. He's a really interesting guy. He's made many different pivots. He's made many different changes. He's been involved in several different businesses, but he continues to move forward and just brings incredible advice that is very refreshing. I think you'll find it very refreshing from a lot of the stuff that you hear out there, and also some great stories and some insights along the way. So in today's conversation on the podcast, it's really wide open. We talk about a lot of different things, including what do you do when times get tough in your business? What do you do when there's challenges and you're beaten down by them and you're having those struggling days that can sometimes turn into weeks and months? How do you battle through that? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the hypey BS that you see in the internet marketing world, the online course world, and things like that, how to avoid it and instead really focus on the things that are important. And that is critical. We actually start out by talking a lot about that. We're going to talk a little bit about his new company called Rewind, which is really interesting as well and very different from a lot of things that we talk about on the show, as it's actually, well, I don't even want to reveal. We'll talk about that as we come up. So a lot to talk about. You're going to pick up a lot of insights. I guarantee you're going to feel this episode being very inspirational. You're also going to pick up some ways that you should maybe be thinking about business in a different way. So here we go. Without further ado, the one, the only, Mr. Dr. Professor Ryan Lee. All right, so now, I'm sure I buttered him up like you wouldn't believe in the introduction, but now here he is, Mr. Ryan Lee. How are you, Ryan?
I can never be buttered up enough. Is that what we're going to talk about? Putting butter in your coffee today?
Maybe a little bit of butter, but it's funny, Ryan, but seriously, I mean, when I mention this is that you come up in all my webinar presentations, you come up all the time, royalty free, where I talk about you being one of my early mentors and friends and someone that's really helped me along the way. And, before we even start this conversation, very appreciative for all that you've done. And it's just always cool, not only getting the chance to talk to you, but also, following you along, and we always keep in touch. And so it's great to be chatting with you.
Well, it's my honor. And I'm pretty picky with who I endorse in this world, especially the digital marketing world and creating courses. And for everyone listening, I just got to say, you're in good hands with David, because he truly cares. And I know this because all the conversations we've had privately, not being recorded, on our cell phone while I'm carpooling one of my kids, it's always about, serving your audience and your people and doing fun and creative things and doing the right thing. So I'm just happy to be here, and this is going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan, something that you've always kind of harped on, and this is something that I think it's definitely rubbed off on me, and then I try to rub off on others. It's a constant rubbing, if you will, is that, there's a lot of BS, unfortunately. It's just unfortunate in this kind of internet marketing, information product, expert course world. There's a lot of crap out there. And we're going to talk about a lot of trends and things that you see kind of moving forward. Also, what you're currently doing now with your business, which is really interesting. But I'm curious, this has always been something that I've just thought was awesome with you. You're not the trick person. You're not the person that's like, let's change the sales page to purple, and that's going to get 0.001% more people to buy. Or let's do some kind of crap. Like, you've always kind of been the anti-crap person, and also the person that's always calling out people on this. And I'm just curious, like, any thoughts on that? Like, because I know a lot of people here, they get kind of inundated with these like little weird tactics and strategies that happen all the time from other people that are like, oh, this is like very overhyped things. And you've never been that way, but you've had a successful business. So, I mean, tell us just quick thoughts on that.
Well, you know what it is? It's you guys have to realize what's happening, like what the game is. And here's the thing. The people who sell how to make money online or internet marketing, that whole space, The idea is for them to sell you stuff, right? And the sexy stuff sells. The how I doubled my conversion by changing the color of my add to cart button is more exciting than, email strategies or stuff like that. Like, it's just, that's the stuff that gets people to click and buy. And that's why they hype it up and they confuse you and they try to overwhelm you and say, look, there's all these, it's so confusing. It's all these moving parts. You got to do this. And then you have to buy my course. And then after you buy the course, you got to pay them, $20,000 for their mastermind or coaching. It's purely a game. It's the problem is it's very short-term thinking. They're giving you a tactic where you need to focus on the strategies. The tactics will make you maybe some money short-term. Strategy is what makes you wealthy, and it's why I'm still around 20 years, into this, is because being strategic. Now, a lot of these short-term tactics they're using manipulation, so you might get someone to buy, but they don't feel good about buying. Okay, yes, you have 3 upsells, you have 4 upsells, and you increased your average order by $3, but at what cost? The other 99% of people who said no are now annoyed and like, oh, this is just like every other marketer. And it just doesn't work long term. Just stop with all the tricks and all the games. Here's the thing. If most of that stuff, the color of your add to cart button, the countdown clock, the things, as you said, move the needle 0.00001 are so small, and you need to focus on the big things, because if your idea doesn't work, if your hook isn't strong enough, if your positioning isn't good enough, if people don't have a reason to buy from you, then all that other stuff doesn't matter. You need to focus on the big stuff. And then when you start making a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand sales, when you start generating 6 figures, then you could go in and really optimize. But you got to see if your concept is going to be, proven and sold in the marketplace before you even think about the small tactical stuff. Don't even worry about that. Just think about, can you even sell your damn product?
Right, right, and that's the interesting thing. Is like people forget that foundation a lot of times, and they also think very, very short term, right? And I'm not, and that's what I mean by short term is exactly what you said. They're also thinking like, oh my God, I got to make 1 million sales right out of the gate or I'm some kind of massive failure. And it's not about that. It's about a long-term business here, that's the key to success over time. It's not about just like, oh, let's try to make like as much money and like run away in a wagon or something. Do you know what I mean?
That's the old churn and burn way, right? Get people on you. And I'll never forget this, Dave. When I was first starting, one guy said, how do you run your business? He said, I get people on my list and I email them to death until they either buy or get off my list.
Oy.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Oy vey. What a terrible way to run your business and to leave a legacy, really. Like that's awful. And now it gets more expensive to acquire a customer. And I know you teach lead gen, and the price goes up because more competition. So it is so much more important to keep the people, to keep them, than it is to keep trying to sell new people. And for years, and even still to this day, I've always, and people are going to be surprised, I spend more on my staff on customer support than I do on marketing. I have twice as many customer support people taking care of our people than we do on actually getting new people in, because it's the name of the game is retention. And you do a great job because you're always delivering, you're always over delivering, and you're communicating and you're being real and honest and transparent. And that's why you've been able to survive some of these kind of ups and downs and bubbles, because you're just doing the right thing and you're doing it consistently versus, hey, here's a launch, here's this, here's that, and you're all over the place and promoting every other product. You're not doing that. You're building trust. And that's the key. It's not the size of your list. It's the relationship you have with the list. Relationship is everything.
Right. Right. And it's interesting what you said about that, because an example I've used before is that I was in a mastermind group a few years ago that ended up being a disaster. But that's a whole other story. That I was in part of it. And there was a guy there at an event, and we were talking about, I was having some kind of challenge I was talking about. I don't remember exactly what the challenge was, but it was something about that customers weren't doing something or whatever it was, right? And the guy looks at me and he says, "You just care too much about your customers." And I could feel vomit coming up in my throat, right? And I'm like, I'm going to throw up on the ground. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I let him kind of have it, at least in my memory, because unfortunately, this guy, who, by the way, Ryan, I've kept slight tabs on for my own entertainment, is out of business. Shocker.
Not surprising
Shocker.
at all.
Uh-oh. Ding. I wish I had the gong right here,
Yeah.
right? And
Of course,
because that's the number one priority. And that leads to two different things here. One is that's the focus. I mean, you have to take amazing care of your that's what I care about. I want to get when my customers buy my program, I want them to create a very successful course and have their own customers. I want that to happen. I care about that. He just cared about getting people in. It was like a real estate thing. It was like getting people into this and just selling them and putting this crap. And I remember something that you taught me a long, long time ago, Ryan, that was very, very helpful was that, especially when people are buying a premium course, premium product, a flagship program, something like that, just to not have those ridiculous, endless upsells that you see going on nowadays. Because I think there's nothing more frustrating when you buy something that's complete. Now, by the way, when you buy Create Awesome Online Courses, we have like a graphics pack you could add in, but it's not a requirement or anything that well, it's just like, hey, this is something if you want to make your life a little easier with graphics, here you go. If you already got graphics, great, no big deal. But the things where it makes the course seem incomplete and that you just got duped. Like, meaning like, I just bought a course on how to jump higher and then you get an upsell. Well, here's the real way to learn how to jump higher.
Right.
You got to buy $500 more worth of stuff or something.
I mean, that's the old school bait and switch. And it's awful. Now and I'm not saying you can't do an upsell. You can do an upsell, but here's the difference in the wording. Like as you said, this is to add to it. What you just bought, the premium course, the flagship course, it's fine. You're going to do great, and I know you will. If you're interested in graphics and more graphics, here you go. You can get this for just X amount of money. And if you don't want it, that's fine too. Like that's fine. No pressure. There's no fake countdown clock. You're not going to say it's only $29. It's usually $5,000. It's only $29 now. First of all, you're full of garbage. And then you say it's never going to repeat again. And then they click no. And then you're like, okay, wait, how about just 15? Well, now I know you're not being honest. Now I know you're lying to me. I'm never going to trust you. And then you send the email. And 15, it's never going to be this low. They say no. They get the thank you email. Hey, by the way, do you still want it for 15? Now I am never going to trust you or believe anything you say. And you did this to try to make a few extra bucks. That's short-term thinking. And that's marketing like it's 2002. And there are still people that do that, but they're the ones who don't stick around very long. So just stop. But it also, here's the other thing. None of this works. You could take the best care of your people and the best customer service, all that stuff falls apart if your product is crap too. So you've got to have good stuff. Whatever you promise, you better deliver. I don't care. And here, I don't care if you're only charging $10. I'll say, well, and I've heard that, David. You'd be shocked. Someone says, well, it's only $10. Well, it doesn't matter. Can I just tell you one really quick story about that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, you're gonna love this. I was at a dinner with this guy, bunch of marketers, and this guy had this really kind of shady reputation, even back from 15 years ago. This was a while ago, and if you had a bad reputation back then, you're sleazy. He's talking about a software he created for eBay buyers, and he's telling me about this stuff and all this stuff it does. And he's explaining it. I said, all right, first of all, there's no way that's within the guidelines of eBay. Like it was completely against their guidelines, right? Whatever it was doing.
Every terms of service violation in one course, right?
You would absolutely get your thing banned,
right?
And I'm like, so how could you sell it? He goes, well, I only charge $99 for it,
which has nothing to do with anything.
No, I'm like, but they're going to get banned. He's like, yeah, but it's only $99. It's not a lot. It's not like I'm asking for like 5,000. And he was 100% serious. That is a sociopath. And there are sociopaths. There are people who just he truly didn't understand that they're going to get their accounts banned. His whole thought is, well, it's only $99. And I wish I was making that. I wish I was that creative to make up a story like that. But I was just like, are you? That's when I got to get out of this world.
I saw once a guy selling like a real shady Facebook ads course, right? And then he was also then selling a course how to get your Facebook account unbanned. Which is my favorite one, is you take the ads course, then you get your ads banned, and then you got to buy the course to get it unbanned, which brought me great entertainment.
Yeah, it's and that's not surprising. How to do Facebook ads and how to get unbanned. The stories, people have said to me, why do you? Sometimes I'll go on these email rants or I'll do something, and they'll be like, why are you so angry? And I'm not. If people only knew what it really is like behind the scenes, because I was on the stages with a lot of these people.
Yeah. You've done. I mean, how many events do you think you've hosted or been at?
Oh,
I mean, even in his 20 years. I mean,
I was a speaker at all these things. I have no, I lost count.
Like seriously, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And you've also hosted, and I've spoken at your events. So you know what you're talking about. I'm just shading that. I know you know this. I'm just saying this for everyone else.
Yeah, I've been behind the scenes, the real behind the scenes, speaking at some of these big events. I was a quote unquote guru, a decade ago. And some of the stuff people do and say is absolutely disgusting. And that's why I said at the very beginning of this, that's why I'm happy to be here with you, because you are not like that. And there's a bunch of really good people who truly create good products and care about their client success. Unfortunately, it's more the minority. But, we're just going to try to do what we can to help people and show them that you can do it the right way and be honorable and ethical. And I mean, my kids love coming to our space here, and they wear my T-shirts with the logos on it, Rewind. So I feel good about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, we're not trying to sit here and scare everyone away from this industry, because you guys are doing it the right way. If you're listening to this, you're doing it the right way. I'm telling you that right now. But I'm saying, like, we're just showing you the other side of this, where it's funny. It's like sometimes when you get two people together like this, we like unload all the stuff that's going on. But you got to realize, doing it the right way, doing it in the ethical way, is the way to be successful with this. Like, for example, Ryan, like one of the things, and we're going to talk about a few different things here, and we're going to talk about the new company, which I'm super excited to talk about. One of the things that I think drives me a little crazy, and that this is something that I'm seeing a big trend towards, I want to see if you see it too, is kind of getting rid of these unrealistic promises as to what your course or product delivers. So what I mean by that is lose 50 pounds in 16 minutes. Right? Get 400,000 email subscribers by hitting this button. Right?
For free.
Yeah, for free. Right? And so the funny thing is, like, and I don't even know if you knew this, but I'm working on a new product behind the scenes. I'm very excited about a new course. And the entire premise of the course, Ryan, is to get people to 1,000 of the right email subscribers and build an amazing relationship with them.
And that is a great, and that's how you start, right? That's where the foundation is. You could have a really nice business with 1,000 good, and there was an article written about this like a decade ago, like 1,000 true fans.
Yes, yep.
You can build
Kevin Kelly.
Right. You can build a really good business like that, but getting them in the right way. And I find that sometimes I'll get less people on, but I'll get the right people on just by using the messaging of, so whatever goal they're trying to reach, right? So if you're teaching them marketing, if you're teaching them health and fitness or being a better parent, whatever it is, saying up front, look, this is going to be hard. Right? This isn't push button. This isn't if you're looking for the quick fix, if you're looking to push a button, or if you're looking to take one pill and lose 50 pounds, I ain't your guy. Like, there's other people who'll sell you that dream. I wish you the best. I'm just not for you. And that's cool. We'll part as friends. But you do that, you get the right people in. But if you do the promise, take this pill, lose 50 pounds, they do it, they don't lose it, they're gone anyway. They're not going to be a lifetime customer value. So if you paid for traffic, if you paid $18 or $20 or $50 to acquire that actual paid customer, you just wasted your money. So it doesn't even make good business sense anyway. And because you the way you attracted them, you're bringing the wrong type of person with unrealistic expectations. So what happens? Your customer support service goes up.
Yeah, your refunds go through the roof.
Through the roof.
Your testimonials, few and far between, if any.
None. And then you start, if you go into some of these Facebook groups, I've left just about all of them. You see people like, oh, what do you do? How do you get 18 merchant accounts? Because my chargeback rate is too high. Well, you know what, idiot? Why don't you actually deliver something good, not overpromise, and you won't get any chargebacks. We've, in 4 months, we've sold tens and tens of thousands of bars. Not one chargeback. Not one.
That was the ultimate jinx, by the way. Just letting you know.
I know. I just got a paying, hey, chargeback. But and you know what? Will there be one? Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be one pissed off or one angry person or whatever who, didn't get their bar within 3 minutes. And so there were some people like that, and I get it. But, and I'm not saying we're perfect. Well, yeah, I am. No, we're not perfect. But you do the right thing. You don't have to worry about that crap. You shouldn't be worried about how do I get 18 merchant accounts. If you're worried about if your chargeback rate is too high, your stuff is broken, and you need to fix that before you worry about add to cart or before you worry about doing more marketing and building a list. Fix that, fix the foundation, and everything else is freaking cake.
Right, and that's exactly. I mean, it's avoiding, because there's a lot of marketers out there, people that we know, where they teach this kind of overhyped headline mentality. if you will, and like meanings like, so for example, give me a random topic, Ryan, off the top of your head. Give me something someone could teach a course on. Anything.
Okay. How to restore your classic car.
Okay. How to restore your classic car. Okay. And then in parentheses, it'd be like, even if you don't have any hands and you don't know what a car is. Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, when you
even if you've been dead for 3 years,
even if you don't, even if the only thing you've ever been on is a train and you don't even have a classic car, right? So meaning I see this headline formula a lot, and you got to think about, who does that attract? Who does that attract? Like, does that attract the person that wants to come in that's all gung ho about this, or does this attract let's call it the opportunity seeker, right? And that's one of the shifts that I see in this industry is, thank God, getting away from that, because that's how the chargebacks go through the roof. That's how the testimonials don't exist. Instead, being upfront with people, like meaning, for example, when I was working on that course, Ryan, and we were kind of playing with the ideas, could I say how to build a 100,000 person email list? Yes, I could. I have one, right? But is that something realistic that we should be teaching right away, that someone can accomplish like in a realistic time frame? No, because then I'm going to have a bunch of people saying, I built a list of 30,000. It's not 100,000, right?
And I want a refund, and David Siteman Garland is a scammer.
Right. We wanted something attainable. We wanted something where it's like, you can get this and you can build from this, because what I wanted was, because I've got no doubt that following the strategies that we're going to do, people can build that 1,000 awesome people. Right? 100, and that's why we see it. Like, I've seen competitors that have gone out of business, like promising, like, here's like a 7-figure course you're going to create right away and stuff like that. And I just kind of laugh at it. And that attracts a different type of person.
Different type of person. You have to you have to figure out what the realistic promise is and deliver on your promise. And here was, it's funny. I know this guy, Dean Jackson, and he said something once, and I thought it was really smart. And so, first of all, if you have to ask if it's a no-brainer, then it's not. If you're like, can I get that, Ryan? Is my offer a no-brainer? Well, if you're asking me, then it's not. So, but besides that, if to get in the mindset of, okay, how do I know if this product's going to be good? And this is what Dean said. He said, imagine you created a product or course or program, and you're giving away for free, and you only get paid if someone gets results. So that restoration of your classic car, you give it to someone and you only get paid
if they can show you, here's a picture of the car.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, if that's your frame of mind, what do you have to deliver to ensure that they can do it? Now, of course, you're going to say, but people are lazy. Only 10% of people read the book and blah. I'm not saying that. I'm saying let's pretend they actually go through whatever it is you're teaching. What is it you have to do? What do you have to create? What do you have to deliver? How do you have to deliver it? Don't ask me if it should be video or audio. Answer the question, is the video or audio what's going to get them there better and quicker and get them results? Well, if it's audio, then make it audio, right? You start there as opposed to, I want to create a product for $997. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to lose my skull. What's the least amount I have to do to charge $997?
Yeah. I mean, you've already lost the game if that's the question.
You're done.
You're done.
Toast.
You're done.
David Siteman Garland's going to eat you for lunch and breakfast and dinner.
I will come in there and karate chop. Which I don't even know how to do, but yeah, that's exactly
the weakest karate chop.
The weakest. I don't know how to do a karate chop, but I literally just did one here, and I'm by myself in my office, and I just did a karate chop, and I'm hoping that there wasn't anyone that walked by that see any of that.
But you know how to hit home runs.
I do know how to hit home runs.
The
That is
Lefty
true.
Power Softball Jewish League. Come on.
Yeah, that's it. No, nobody better, my friend. So yeah, and
in Missouri,
exactly. Nobody better in the St. Louis, West County area. So, and maybe even just my little town. And thank you, Ryan, for pointing this out, because this is stuff that, people might, and that was a great example, by the way, that I think people could really think about that as they put their products together or their next product or revamp a product or whatever it might be, because, you're the master of revamping. And I know you like that word because your new company's Rewind, right? You've done lots of pivots. You've done lots of changes. We're going to talk about some kind of trends in the industry, but it's really interesting right now that you're really putting a lot of focus into a physical product business that you're doing with Rewind, which is pretty interesting. And I'm just curious what's been the focus for you? And I know this is very different than a lot of what my audience is, which are course creators and experts and things like that. But you're now diving into a bit of a different world here.
Right. Now, for years...
Well, you were in that world.
Yeah, so I started in the information world, right? Sports and fitness membership site back in 98, 99. Did that for a long time. And then for about a decade, had two really successful e-commerce companies, and they both hit 7 figures per month in revenue. And then we learned a lot. We had some big ups, some big downs. All the meanwhile, I was always doing information marketing and membership sites. And I stopped doing the e-commerce. I got away from the health business, but my health started to fail a few years ago. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. My mom had passed away from cancer. My business everything started kind of falling apart. And I started gaining weight, and I'm only 5'8", and I was up to almost 200 pounds, and just getting sick, feeling like crap. And I said, I need to stop. I need to change this. I need to simplify. So I created this. I said, let me win the morning. That was going to be it, the morning routine, which, by the way, for marketers and entrepreneurs, very important to get that morning routine right. And I said, let me win the morning. For me, it was just having a bar because I have 4 kids. I don't have time. So, and I couldn't find a good bar that had greens and fruit and not a lot of it didn't have dairy because that causes inflammation, all this stuff. So I went out and mission. I said, let me create this. And it was really the lesson is you could create a business around solving a problem, especially a personal one. It's even that much stronger. So that's why I didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to get back into e-commerce. Not at all. Freedom was going great. Every day we're getting new members. I'd be crazy to lose focus on that. But I had this kind of calling to go back to where I started from, which was the health industry, e-commerce. Now that I'm 46, I'm back to the same weight and pant size I was in freaking high school. And I just felt like I had to do this.
And you've been re-energized. I mean, you could just tell you were kind of, and that's the thing that's interesting. I think a lesson that I see from this, because I watched this whole thing. We've talked, we talk every year. So I've seen ups and downs. I've gone through ups and downs. Everybody has, right? But what's interesting is you didn't let yourself just accept the reality that you were at, that you were unhappy with what you were doing, you were unhappy with what you were feeling. And I just feel like a lot of people do accept that at some point and think I'm a failure, I'm not working. Instead, you're like, you know what? Like, because that takes a lot of, we like to throw our Yiddish words around.
I know what you're going to say.
Chutzpah is coming. It's coming.
I knew it.
You knew that was coming. That was set up on a team, my friend. But it was, to say like, you know what? I can't change. I mean, you didn't, like, you've been in the fitness industry. Have you ever created a bar or something like that before?
We had a supplement company. We didn't actually create bars.
Okay, but this was my point is that this was like a new thing. And like, that's the thing too, is like a lot of people that come to me and are listening to this right now, they may not be happy with their current situation of some kind. Maybe they're working a day job. Maybe they're doing just one-on-one coaching and they can't do it anymore. Like they're going to jump off a bridge. Maybe that their current business model is just like they're unhappy for whatever reason. A lot of times they come for, courses and the things that we teach. And this is what you did in a different way. It's just that you were to state like, oh my God, I need to change things up.
Yeah. And look, what are the alternatives, right? To live a life of in pain, mediocrity, regret. You got to take a chance as an entrepreneur and a founder. Like you're going to have to take a chance. There's going to come a day you just have to press go. You just have to put it out there and let's see how the market responds. And I always say to myself, what's the worst that can happen, right? Now I'm blessed because the first 6 years out of college, I worked in a children's rehab hospital and worked with all the sick kids and kids in wheelchairs with spina bifida, cerebral palsy. And I worked with them every single day, 8 to 10 hours a day. That was my life, working with kids in wheelchairs. And I saw a lot of kids who passed away and it would have 8 hours of physical therapy, like the hardest stuff. And these were all inner city kids, no resources. So I see that and I see how hard they worked. And it's like, and we're bitching, so you put a post out on Facebook and you only got 2 likes. Is it like, seriously, what's the worst that's going to happen? Are you going to die? Right? On your deathbed, you're going to be like, oh man, I wish I would have got 18 likes. So you put a product out and you only sell 2 units. Okay. What's the worst that's going to happen? Right? In the scope of life, you still have your health. You're still able to go on the internet. You may have family, friends. Like there's reasons to wake up and be happy and be charged because this friggin' things go fast. And it really cemented it when I lost my mom when she was only 63. Here I just had my 4th kid, and it broke my heart that she wouldn't see them grow up because that's all she wanted to do was be a grandma. So, life, you just don't know. We're never promised another day. go for it. Just friggin' go for it. Try something. And when you fail, because there are going to be roadblocks, even every day with this company, every day there is a roadblock, a setback, there's a little issue, there's a vendor issue, there's a product issue. There's always something, right? You just got to get back up. You entrepreneurs, you have to be prepared. And that's why it gets me a little crazy, and probably you as well, when you see these messages. It's so easy. Anyone could do it. You only want to make 10 grand a month? Like, you know what? It's not that friggin' easy. It's not. And you have to go in, not just, you have to go in physically ready. Like when I was getting in this business, I'm training like I'm friggin' Rocky. Like I'm getting physically in peak shape, mentally. Get some sleep. Stop listening to Gary Vaynerchuk. You don't want to sleep 1 hour a day and look like you're going to die at age 4. Like you need to rest and recharge, and you don't have to hustle and grind 24 hours a day. It's not what I'm saying. Be smart, be productive, figure out the highest lever things you can do, the 1 or 2 things that are going to move your business the most. Do that first thing in the morning and friggin' go for it. But you have to be prepared for the setbacks, and you got to get back up. If you give up quickly, you're dead, because the minute you face a challenge of resistance, I mean, even with these bars, David, the first week, everything was ready. I was ready to be at events. I had all this stuff ready. Yeah. Yeah. Last minute, like 2 days before it was going to ship, they're like, oh man, we had an issue with pea protein. There was a big issue with the pea protein, and it's going to be delayed 3 months. So here I am out like, 100, 150 grand. Now I can't even access it. I can't sell anything. And it's going to be 3 months. And, I just signed the lease, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, sorry. So what do? Do I give up? Do I kill myself? No. You figure out, okay, what am I going to do? How do I shift? How do I adapt? How do I turn this into a positive? We ran out of wrappers because we had so much demand. We sold out so quickly on our second run. We had about 800 boxes that came to us with just white wrappers and white boxes. They didn't even have label wrappers on them, so it's pretty much useless. I'd have to either throw it in the garbage. So what did I do? Instead of getting upset, instead of crying, you know what? You give yourself 2 minutes. You get angry. You do a little karate chop in the air like you just did before. You brush yourself off and you think, okay, how do I make this a positive? And then we did a sale. Hey, and I did a video, completely transparent. Here are the wrappers. You can see the expiration date. Same exact bars that you guys love. Except it doesn't have all the words on it, but you can get it, and you can get it now for just 40% off. Biggest day we ever had. It sold out in like minutes. So instead of getting mad, putting my head in the sand, you get back up, you dust yourself off, and you be like, all right, I'm ready to change some lives, baby. Let's do this. And you listen.
It's funny that you mention that, because that's definitely a trait of successful entrepreneurs that we see over and over again. And we see people that, it's not what's going to happen at the first failure. It's what's going to happen at the 10th, what's going to happen at the 100th, what's going to happen at that. It's keep going. Do you think that's something that people can develop, that skill over time? Because, or is it kind of a born with it or not born with it type situation? Or both?
I think you could develop it over time. I think it comes down to confidence, really. You and I are similar, and we're very blessed. Like, we hit the lottery with our parents, right? I've talked to Randy before. Your dad's amazing. We hit the lottery, so we have a huge advantage over some people who had an absentee mother or father, or raised in a foster home, or had an abusive parent and told they were no good. So right away, we had that because we were always told, hey, you could accomplish anything you want. So we had that coming out of the gate, but I think it could be developed. But you know what? And if you don't have the confidence now, don't think about let's say you want to create a course. They're following your system, and your system is great and it works, but they're procrastinating and they're not getting started because they see this process, and I got to do a course and I have to password protect it. And what the hell's a course cat? Like, they're getting all crazy, right? So now, like, I was going to do a course kitty. So what you do is you take a step back. You say, okay, let me start with one small step. What's the one little step? Okay, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm just going to write the chapter outlines, or I'm going to write one chapter outline, or I'm going to break this down. I'm just going to see what it looks like over 6 weeks, or I'm just going to register the domain name, or I'm just going to come up with a title, or I'm just going to do one Facebook teasing post, like something. And then you celebrate that win, and you take that momentum, and tomorrow you do another step, and just one small step at a time. You start getting a little wind in your sails. Okay, you have a little setback. Give yourself permission to get angry, 5 minutes tops. Get angry, get pissed off. kick the wall, and then you get back to it. Because when you put the people first and you think about these are people that I'm going to be able to impact and I'm building this great business, it's going to keep you going.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny that I always tell people too, and this is whenever I have someone on the show, when we have a lot of students on, right? A lot of my students and some of my students, very successful ones, and we kind of break down their keys to success and what they did to be successful, right? And then we also have people that are stuck in a roadblock. They're stuck in an issue. Maybe they can't get started. Maybe they're just whatever, all kinds of different challenges, right? And one of the questions I ask everyone, which I think is very telling, Ryan, is what's their why for what they're doing, right? And I feel like the stronger it is or the more passionate, and I don't really care what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's not for me to judge, right? But the more that they can talk about why something's important to them, I feel like correlates then with how do you get through challenges and problems.
And that's why it's now there are some people say you have to do something you're passionate about, and there's some people argue for and against that. And I don't know what the answer is, but I do know this. You're going to have a much greater chance of success if it's a product and a program and a topic and a market you love and the people you love serving. And here's a little exercise I do. Do you mind if I do this for you, David?
Let's do it.
All right. So if you think about creating a product, and by the way, a product is different than a company, right? I'm talking about like a specific product and this company, and you want to reach and help these people, but you don't know really who your market is. Think about it like this. So imagine you wake up in the morning and you're going to the hotel. There's a conference room. There's going to be 300 people, standing room only. They're all there to see you for the day. Teach whatever topic it is, whether it's business or health or fixing a car or being a better dad or hitting home runs in the Jewish League in the Eastern Missouri, whatever, right? Whatever that topic is. So imagine you're on stage, you look onto the audience, 300 people. Now I want people, now if you're driving, obviously don't do this, but close your eyes for a second. Okay, everyone just close your eyes. Stay with me. You're on stage, you look out, just 300 people. You have the big screen set up, a whiteboard, everything's ready. Who is in that audience? Who are the people, right? Who is that person? And then, okay, you could open your eyes now. You start there and you build the product and programs and your business and your company and your movement. You build it around those people and serving them and solving their problems. You don't start with, oh, I know how to hit home runs. I want to create a course for $997, and then you create it and then you try to figure out who you're selling it to. Well, who are you selling it to? Are you selling it to people who are, professional softball players, recreation softball players, high school softball players, junior high softball players, girls, men, fast pitch, slow pitch? So who are you selling it to, right? So you start with the person, not with the product. And then your chance of success is so much greater. And when you face these hardships, when you face the roadblock, which you will, they are coming. Believe me, they're coming. It's so much easier to get up because you're really excited about this and the people that you're serving, as opposed to going into Google, seeing what a hot topic is. Oh, I see the big thing right now is, keto diet. Okay, I'm going to create a pill about keto, and but you don't even care. You don't do it. You're 75 pounds overweight. You don't do any of that. And then you don't care. That's a different, because then when you have the hardship, you're going to give up because you're not even excited about it.
Right. And maybe you don't even give up at the first hardship, but number 5 you do, right? And that's the thing. And you hit the nail on the head there, Ryan, so much in terms of who you want to work with, because that is where you, especially in the information and the expert business and in the courses business and anything like that, you need to be loving these people. And the cool thing about the internet is that you can attract the right people. This goes full circle to what we were talking about earlier about what the hyping marketing does, right? It attracts probably not those 300 people that you just close your eyes and envision. It probably attracts some guy I'm picturing like a guy in a trench coat that's flashing people. You don't want that guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Unless you have a course like how to be a creep and go to jail.
Right, exactly.
Then that's your guy.
And then your second course is how to get out of jail.
How to break out of jail.
How to break out of jail. That's the second one. But that's exactly because I actually have to my left here, Ryan, I've got this big whiteboard. Like I turned a wall in my office into a whiteboard here, and I'm mapping out that new product that we're doing. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because I've got in this kind of second modules like clarity and branding. And one of the biggest questions I have on there is not only who you are, but who you want to attract. And I'm going to steal that 300 thing and give you full credit. But the thing is that's the key thing. You get to choose. That's you. I mean, like we had someone, I had an email that went out recently about this, where that's one of the coolest things that you have about online world. I had someone complaining about customers years ago. I hate my customers. I don't like them. They're not doing this and that. I'm like, well, you're the one. And then someone came up to them, and this was at a conference, and said, well, you're the one that attracted them. You're the one that marketed to them. It's your fault. And this lady, her face like fell off, and she like couldn't believe it. And I was thinking about that. That is 100% true. You get to choose how you position and how you attract these people, which goes back to this whole thing. It's not about shiny tactics and this and that and traffic. There's so many different traffic sources. It's not even funny. The key is that foundation of who you want to attract, and then building that relationship with them. That's the key, right?
And you build your products and programs, services around them. Because if you can't stand, let's say you're teaching internet marketing. If you can't stand working with newbies and stuff, and you're saying how to get started and build $1 million business overnight, that's who you're going to attract.
Right.
That's who all your emails are going to be with. That's who all your Facebook interactions are going to be with. So don't build it for them. Build it for who you want. And, we get nervous about niching too much because like, oh, well, I'm leaving all this money on the table. Stop saying that.
People know this. If they've listened to this show, they know this is my number one rule. The more specific you get, the better. And we just had that actually, Ryan, with 2 episodes before this one. That was the exact problem, or 3 episodes for this one, that one of my students was having, is that she was worried about, instead of focusing just on female coaches, that she could just do female entrepreneurs, and, getting more and more specific. And you just see this, that's one of the trends that I see continually. And things just get more and more niche. There's more riches and niches than ever. And we see this with students all the time. And we see people that are serving, how to get, more clients for your dentist practice on Pinterest. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you see things the more and more specific.
Niche down to become the clear and obvious choice. Absolutely.
Which leaves me to the last kind of questions here. We just have a couple of minutes left, Ryan. Was one thing I didn't want to forget, because not that we're going to necessarily crystal ball it, because that's kind of tough to do. To say what's going to be going on in 5 years, right?
I could do it, but
in the information products courses business, I'm curious from your opinion, or what direction do you see things going? What trends or what kind of key things do you see, or pitfalls or anything? Because I know you've always just been, I know now you're more in with your bars and that business, which is awesome, but you've had your pulse on this business for 20 years, me for 10 years, and I don't think I can catch you. So I've been trying to run the math. I do not think I'd catch you. So I'm just curious.
You're not going to catch me.
What do you see?
I see in the information marketing space and the course space, the whole everything. We've got to the point now with technology where, and I'm holding my phone right now in my hand, trying to explain this to you. I know this is not video, but you have a phone in your hand. You can read any book on your phone. You could listen to any song. You could download any movie. So we've already reached that. So that's a given, right? Now people are saying, okay, that's cool, but now I want to get back to the physicality. I want to go a little bit more analog, which is why, I think of even my own habits. Years ago, all the music, I got rid of all my records and CDs. Everything was online and downloaded. And then we're like, well, Apple kind of still owns it. And then I started buying records again. Same thing with Kindle. I was reading only Kindle books. Now I'm buying books again. And record sales, book sales, all of that stuff is up double-digit growth every year now. We've turned the corner, and we're coming back to analog.
What's old is new?
Absolutely. But people still want that tactile. And we're so overwhelmed. We're online so much. People are just looking like, man, I just want to unplug. Like, let me just sit down and read a book. I don't want to be on my screen anymore. So there's a big trend happening in that. And also with differentiation, so many people are just doing online courses. The people who are going to look to add physical dimensions to that, meaning, hey, you can get the course, and I'm also going to send you the 3-ring binder in the mail. I'm going to send you the book in the mail. I'm going to deliver. And when I first started, my first courses I think the first physical course I did was maybe the year 2000, and it was a 3-ring binder with audio CDs and printed paper I did at Staples. And the funny thing is, it was so long ago, I was debating whether I do cassette or CD. Because it was just kind of turning over. But we're going back to it now. We're absolutely going back to it. So I'm not saying you're going to do a 6 audio cassette tape like Zig Ziglar, but if you can add physical stuff, whether it's an upsell, whether it's your actual main offer, depending how you position it. So, and depending who your market is, you might say, hey, look, this is an actual course. You're going to get the 3-ring binder in the mail with CDs and DVDs and maybe a thumb drive so you can listen online. And then as a bonus, we'll give you free access to it online as well, so you can watch it anywhere. Or reverse, we'll give you the online course. You can watch it anywhere. Oh, and as a free bonus, you're also going to get the physical product shipped to you, so you can read it and sit down and enjoy it with a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, right? So few. We used to do that years ago, but people stopped about maybe 6-7 years ago. The ones who do that are going to see bumps in response, guaranteed. Because if there's two products that are similar-ish, now obviously you don't want to be in that world where you're a commodity, but let's say you are comparing apples to apples. The one person who has for let's say $1,000 course, who also gives me the 3-ring binder and the physical thing and a checklist and a little poster, they're going to win my business, and they'll win everyone's business, because there's something about getting that in the mail.
I love it. Very interesting. So that's what Swami says. We're going to mark this down. We're going to mark down the date of it. We're going to have this. We'll see if the Swami comes true, my friend. So, all right. I love it. Well, Ryan, thanks for so much. This was a wide-ranging conversation. Super interesting. Great insights. Great sharing some stuff behind the scenes. I love that you mentioned like how you kind of got yourself out of your kind of challenging state that you were in, because I faced that as well. I mean, one thing that I did, which is exactly what you did, I actually switched up my workouts, and that made a huge difference. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like I was like in a rut and bored and like doing stuff like that. So I switched up completely, went to a completely new place, and next thing you know, my energy was through the roof almost instantaneously. Like within like a couple days, I'm like, oh my God, I'm back to normal again. So you can, I mean, like regardless of what state you're in right now, you can make changes, my friends. You do not have to stay there in that whatever state, because you can change whatever that streak is. If you're going down or up, you can change it, you know?
It's on you. You can do it.
Love it. And Ryan, any link on the way out if people want to grab a bar, they want to get that morning started straight, where do we give them?
Just head on over to rewindtoday.com, and I'll set up a special 20% off coupon. What coupon code should we use for them?
All right, well, let's go rewindtoday.com, and let's go with the coupon code. Can we do RISE? Can we do that?
RISE. Done.
20% off. Awesome.
20% off anything in the store. Stock up. Get some bars.
And they are fun purple wrappers, and
yes.
I've got plenty here. I enjoy them. You should definitely check them out. Thank you, Mr. Ryan, as always, and good luck with everything, and keep those 4 kids in line, my friend.
Will do. Thanks, buddy.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that wide-ranging chat. I mentioned that at the beginning, covering lots of topics with the one, the only, the Ryan Lee. Great guy, great friend of mine, great mentor, always just offers good things that I end up remembering for years and years and years. So I hope that you picked up some good stuff from that as well, that you can apply to your business, to your life in some form or fashion. So on the way out, reminder, you can subscribe to the Rise to Top podcast at therisetop.com/subscribe. Okay, therisetop.com/subscribe. You'll find out all the ways you can subscribe on there, iTunes being one of them. We're on Stitcher Radio. You could, all kinds of good stuff. You can also watch on my website, therisetop.com. We listen to podcasts on therisetop.com. All that information can be found at therisetop.com/subscribe. And finally, on the way out, if you are interested and you know now's the time and you want to get started on that journey to create that online course, get it done, find that perfect audience, all the stuff that goes along with it, marketing, promoting it, putting it together, all the tech aspects, launching, beyond launching, you're going to want to make sure to check out Create Awesome Online Courses, my #1 program and the #1 program in the world for creating successful online courses. Go to createawesomeonlinecourses.com/unlock, and you will find a special offer just for listeners of the Rise to Top podcast. All right, my friends, I will see you next time. This has been David Siteman Garland. And remember, if you want some fluff, you know what to do. Go pet a bunny.